I collected 362 extra ounces of breast milk in my first month postpartum. 211 ounces got frozen to be put in our deep freezer, 64 ounces were fed to our baby via bottle, and 84 ounces went bad. More on that later. In this video, I'll show you the 3 ways that I collected that milk, the tips I learned the hard way for avoiding milk spoiling, and what I plan on doing with all of the excess. So how was I able to collect 362 extra ounces anyways? The first method that I used was pumping via the Zomee Fit. I got this free through insurance, and I actually started pumping before my baby was born to try to go into labor. Before anybody asks, no, it didn't work. I had to get induced at 41 weeks. But this was super awesome because I was able to collect over 100 milliliters of colostrum, and when she arrived, we ended up using all of those milliliters to top off every single one of her feedings until my milk came in. Since then though, I've probably only used the Zomee like 2 or 3 times. 1, I haven't really needed it, and 2, it's just not as powerful for myself as I would want. But for a first timer, that was great. The second method that I used to collect milk, and honestly the MVP of this entire operation, the Haakaa. Once my milk came in, I would attach this to the other side for most, if not all, of my feeding sessions, and this is probably why I have 90 to 95% of the milk in my freezer that I do. When I first started using this, I definitely needed 2 hands to get this down, this squeezed and placed on myself, but now I've gotten to the point where I'll use my body as leverage, and I can do it all with 1 hand. The last method that I use to collect milk is this manual pump by Lansinoh. If she slept longer than I anticipated that she would, and I was feeling a little extra full, I use this to feel a little bit better and to relieve some of the pressure for her. So I'm less like a fire hydrant and more like a water fountain. As a first-time mom, I didn't really know how I'd feel about manual pumps. It just seemed like a lot of work, hence why I ordered the Zomee Fit. But now that I'm in postpartum and not pregnancy, this is just way more convenient, and I like that I have so much more control over it. I'll just put this on one side, the Haakaa on the other. It's wonderful. So now that you started collecting your milk, how do you keep it from spoiling? I mentioned previously that 84 ounces had to get thrown away, and it's because I didn't have a good system for saving and freezing it. The CDC has a recommended amount of time that they think milk can be out after being expressed, how long it can be in the fridge, how long it can be in the freezer, etc. But I've also heard of the 555 rule, and that also differed from the breastfeeding book that I got from my own hospital once they discharged me. Because all these numbers are different, I try to not let my milk stay in the fridge for longer than like 6 days, but typically it doesn't get that far because I've been collecting them in a mason jar. I can fill one of these up in like 3 to 4 days, so I just wait till it's full and then I bag it. What happened previously is I tried to bite off more than I could chew, and I put 2 mason jars in the fridge and wanted them both to fill up, so I had like a massive freezing bagging session, and then too many days went by in order for that to happen. A couple weeks after that happened, I went out to our deep freezer and just started logging everything on my phone because I was starting to feel a little overwhelmed and definitely unorganized because I had no idea how many ounces I had frozen. And it so turns out that the milk wasn't in my fridge as long as I thought it was. So not only did I throw away milk that I thought was spoiled, I threw away milk that was never spoiled in the first place. All because I didn't have good systems. So now I keep everything on the Notes app in my phone, so I know exactly when it was frozen and how much I had and where it's all going. Now that I've started collecting my extra breast milk, what on earth am I gonna do with it? First things first, I will set a little bit aside just for us, just in case we ever need it for emergencies, but I'm only thinking of setting aside anywhere between 50 to 100 ounces to keep in there. The second thing I'm doing with this is giving it to friends that need it. I've already given away 151 ounces to a friend of mine whose kid wasn't gaining enough weight. If given the option, she would like to supplement with breast milk over formula, so I ended up giving her as much as I could. The last thing I would like to do with my extra breast milk is donate it to a milk bank. Any full-term baby, if they need to supplement, formula is always okay, but preemies exposing their stomachs to cow's milk can actually cause a really harmful disease in their stomach. So I went online and I found which milk bank our local hospital gets their donated milk from, and ultimately I'd like to give a solid donation to that milk bank, so in a roundabout way I'm helping the preemies in my area. In the Bible it says, give freely what was given freely to you, and I have no control over my breast milk supply. It is all genetics and the Lord, so I will give freely what was given to me freely and help those who need it. Thanks for watching this video. I create all sorts of fun content on my TikTok from a variety of different topics, so if any of these topics are interesting to you, it would mean a lot to me if you subscribed here or followed me on TikTok. Toodles.